So you probably have heard me the last few weeks, particularly probably last week on one of my live streams I talked about this. And the fact, and I'm sure many people have noticed this in our garda and Connor, that, during the lockdowns and stuff like that, they were out on the roads, they were getting cold and upset, being out on the road having to do actually something. Nowadays, the guards are hiding in the guards barracks in many of our towns and cities. They're just hiding in the guards barracks. It's not that there's any guards, there's no guards and things like that. They're just hiding in the barracks. There's two examples I have here. Well, there's one or two of them just fucking around in the guards station, or four or five of them just standing around doing nothing in the guards barracks because they're afraid to get out in the cold and all that. Even though I will say you never know what you can come across being a guard. You never know what could happen day to day, or minute to minute, or hour to hour. So it is a dangerous job too. Anytime you go out to a call, God forbid what you could come across. But it's not that they're not even bothered to go out and do it. Let's put it that way. Which is very, very bad for a police force, because at the end of the day, nearly at the end of the day, what's happening now, members of the public have to take it upon themselves to be law and order to be done, because the Garda Síochána at the moment in time are doing a very poor job of policing the country and protecting people. Very poor job being done. So two examples I talked about in the stream. One perfect example was in Navan. It was on the 109 bus going up to Dublin from Cavan to Dublin basically. And basically there was a fight on board between two individuals over whatever it was, but basically there was a disturbance, a public order incident, and obviously the bus driver stopped the bus and rang for Garda Síochána. And this was 15 minutes away from the Garda station in Navan town. So you would think they would send a squad car out, but no, and they didn't bother. They waited an hour there to hold up many people on the bus. They waited an hour for the guards to arrive. The guards didn't materialise, and the bus driver had to drive to Navan Garda station, to the foot of Navan Garda station, to bring these two people into the guards barracks, because he wasn't going to let them, and they were refusing to get off the bus, etc, etc, etc. So he brought them to the guards barracks, and happily, there was about five of them there, standing in Navan Garda station, looking at the bus, basically. Five of them came out and looked at the bus, and that was it. They had to do something. There was five of them there, basically. I know there has to be wooden guard at the front desk of a Garda station, I understand that. But in this case, there was four or five of them there. Yeah, and it has been said there's four or five of them. It's been said by many people at the bus that there was four or five of them just tricking about, to be totally honest, not really doing anything. And a few Garda cars there at the same time too, along with, they could have walked if they didn't have Garda cars wouldn't walk or something like that. They probably make up that excuse, the Garda car wasn't walking, we couldn't go out, even though they waited an hour, and there's four or five of them just tricking around. You think one of them would say, we probably should go up and look and see what's the story with this, especially because the hold up probably maybe, I don't know, 50 people, maybe more, because it was the morning rush hours, the bus going up to Dublin in the morning. You think they would say, we probably should, because we're holding up a lot of people on the bus and stuff like that, and it's a disturbance, we probably should go and investigate it, or maybe do something about it. But no, wouldn't bother. Only for the bus driver probably going to the Garda station with the bus, with all the passengers on board. The girls probably wouldn't have turned up for about 5 or 6 hours. They would have just had to wait along the side of the road for a Garda Síochána to come. And I'm sure everybody would say straight away that's a piss poor service. Particularly because, again, it'd be different if there was no guards in the guards barracks. There was nobody there to go. There was only one guard at the desk, and that was it. There was nobody else to respond to the call. But it's the fact that there was guards sitting in the barracks, and one or two of them could have easily went. Because if there was 5 or 4 there, one or two of them could have said, we're pondering down there. It'll only take us 15 minutes. We'll be back in a few minutes. It doesn't take a genius to say, we don't need 4 or 5 of them standing around the guards barracks. We need, as many as we can on the streets. Obviously, we'd leave one on the desk, of course, if a member of the public went in for inquiries or whatever. But no, and this is another example too. This happened in Roscommon. It was on the Joe Finnegan show on Northern Sound there about 2 weeks ago. There was a woman speaking, and this is when it was cold. It was a very cold morning. It was one of the cold mornings there a few weeks ago. It was a frost. It was a terrible frost. It was very, very cold. And she found a homeless person. I think it was in Castlereagh in County Roscommon, as far as I know. And obviously, as you know, there's a guards barracks in in Castlereagh in County Roscommon. Where, as far as I know, there is. What I've been told is. And I presume there is, because I've looked into it, and it says there's a guards barracks there. If maybe it's open only part time, who knows? But the fact is, she rang on Garda Síochána. She rang the Castlereagh Garda station, and basically they're told, we don't have anybody to send, basically. So that's a great example to the public. We can't send anybody, and at the same time, there probably was 4 or 5 of them trekking around in Castlereagh Garda station, not bothered to do anything. And then she rang every Garda district, like take for example, we had Cavan has district policing service. So they're integrated together, the Cavan Policing Committee, basically. So that's the area. Different policing zones, I suppose you could say. And she rang the Roscommon Galway Mayo Policing Zone, kind of the district headquarters, if you may use that, to seek for a member from Garda Síochána to come out and help. And they basically said, it might be an hour or so before somebody comes out to you. Even though the man has hypothermia, just to say, because it was really, really cold and this man was sleeping rough. And obviously, if a member of the public needs assistance in any way, shape, or form, first of all, you think about ringing on Garda Síochána for assistance, regardless of what it is. That's what they're there for, to help the public if a need comes about. And so basically, she waited for about an hour or more, nearly 2 hours, for a guard to turn up, to turn up. So I don't need to tell you, I didn't think she rang 999 again, and basically was told whatever they get around to, basically. And then obviously then they came. So again, it's just about, and probably in Castlereagh, I don't know, but I think she said there was guards in Castlereagh Garda Station in Roscommon, just tricking around, as you would say, just tricking around. But it's the perfect example, even in the town there in Cavan here, just to say it straight, there's a lot of guards in the station. There's 4 or 5 of them probably tricking around there on a Saturday night. We had a serious incident in Cavan town there last weekend gone by, and thankfully the guards responded quick enough, so it was told. But again, it's the fact that they should be on the beat. There's no guards walking around at night time at all on the street. That's the fact, and there's many of them probably sitting in the guards' bags afraid of the cold getting to them, and that they're having to do actually work, having to do paperwork and stuff like that, and they're just sitting in the barracks and they couldn't be bothered to do anything. So, and again, they wouldn't get out of their cars, basically. They love their cars, they won't get out of them. But it needs to be just a presence on the street, basically, a guard on the beat, the old-fashioned way, walking on the street, talking to people, engaging with people. Sitting in the car is not going to engage with anybody or to be a physical presence, It's all right going around in the cop car being a physical presence too, but nothing matches having the guard on the beat, on the floor, but not on the floor, but on the ground, basically, out and about, basically, instead of just in the car. Because you probably would see nearly more on foot than you would in the car, especially because a lot of them are probably tricking on their phones and not bothered with what's going on around them. But it's a sad reality that the policing service in this country has got to this stage. Again, it's the way it's a perfect example that the girls in many cases have just got too lazy to enforce the law. And that's the same with this country in general, the legal system and stuff. Just not bother to enforce the law, but if you dare misgender somebody, we deal with you. Basically, let's put that. That's the only thing they ever kind of move very quickly for. But if you kill somebody, no, nothing's ever going to be done about that. We don't care, basically. That's what the guard to say. And at the end of the day, the people who are to blame are Drew Harris and Helen McAtee, because again, at the end of the day, they're the people at the very top of obviously Drew Harris being the Garda Commissioner, and Helen McAtee be the Minister for Justice, who's over the Garda Commission. The two of them are to blame. You think she would say to Drew or to whoever on the Garda, the Assistant Commissioner, whoever, that Drew, first of all, Drew needs to be gone. People have shown that the guards even shown themselves they don't trust Drew, and he should be gone. He shouldn't be there after people have said overwhelmingly they don't want him there. And obviously there should be a restructuring of the whole Garda Síochána. And we have to get people that, obviously they need to get a bit of a pay rise, so we'll say that. But, we need to get people who are, willing to go out and doing the job. Even though, again, as I mentioned before, we can't be disingenuous here. That it is a tough job. It is a tough job. Your job being a guard. It could come across, God forbid, anything. Like, take, for example, that what happened in Sligo, the lunatic that murdered 2 people in Sligo. He beheaded them and stuff like that. Like, imagine the first guard having to go in to see that, or even the incident in the Ballyjim stuff there a few years ago, where a man took his life of his family and his wife in a murder-suicide, take for example. I'm sure if the first guard going in there would have that with him for the rest of his life, it would never leave his brain. He could never get rid of that memory out of his brain. And I'm sure people would agree that nobody would want to see that, and obviously the guards would be the first person to have to see it. And it's not easy. And I will say that we can't be disingenuous and say everybody be able to do it. I don't know what I'd be able. I might be a good community police, and the way there's community police and engaging with the community schools and stuff like that. I might be good at that. Or even just talking to community groups and stuff, elderly people, informing them of different things they could do to take, for example, stop burglaries and stuff like that. I think I would be good at that, but I don't think it'd be good as an only guard on the beat, because generally, with being dyslexic, trying to take a report, say if somebody was attacked or something like that, trying to write a report on that, it'd be atrocious, basically, for the legal system, because I would probably make a mistake, and then that would cause a mistrial or whatever, and that would not be good. But yeah, so let me know what you think. I just thought to talk about this. I talked about it in one of my live streams. Now, I'm not too sure about the Castleweed bit. I think there is a guard station in Castleweed, just to clarify. I could be wrong in that. But maybe it's only open once a week, because, again, I heard it on the radio and it did say Castleweed, so I presume that this is open full time. I presume. Again, anybody from Roscommon, let me know. Thank you.